Today on research writing, are you ready to learn more on writing the literature review? Let's go there. I'm Dr. Usman Muhammad Bello. I'm here to simplify your research writing process. Today, we want to look at your empirical review, which is the last important section of your chapter 2, literature review. The empirical review, which is the most important, which is the third important section of your chapter 2. Here, you require that you bring all the existing research relating to your topic or your study. You bring them and review them. In fact, for a lot of people, when they say literature review, the only thing they normally do is empirical review. They may not call it empirical, they will just call it literature review. But all they do there is simply empirical review to them. Particularly when you go to some department in sciences, they don't consider conceptual framework and theoretical framework significant or very important. But this empirical review is very significant. And this is where you are going to connect your study with all the previous studies. Therefore, you will need to establish that you are aware that so studies and studies have been carried out, and you are aware that these are their findings. So that is where you are going to do that, and at the end of the day, you will now be able to establish a gap. You let us know what has been left unstudied, which your research wants to focus on. Then at the end of the day, we will now, when we see your findings, we will be able to connect your findings with the existing research. And that's when we'll be able to establish that, yes, you have actually extended or contributed to scholarship. So we will have to do that. So you have to show us. So, and there are different ways of doing this empirical review. You can do it subject by subject. For particularly the up and coming researchers, what most of them normally do is to say that scholar A has done this in their work. They use so theory, and these are their findings. Scholar B has done this. They will give the topic. They will tell what the person has done. They will tell the person's findings. That is one way, particularly for people who are still coming up. But if you want to advance your writing, you don't have to do it scholar by scholar. You can do it subject by subject. Let us know that this subject matter has been addressed by scholar A, B, C, D, E. Then let us know the findings. How do they have similar findings? If they have similar findings, let us know that scholars A and B, scholars A, B, C find this in their own study. But the findings of scholars A, B, and C contradict the findings of scholars E, and F. You can see, you are not integrating the research. This is usually at, when you want to leave the elementary level, an advanced level. Let us establish the connection between those previous studies. Don't just tell us that A has done this, B has done this, C has done this, then this is what has not been done. Yeah, for people who are still coming up, that is how we normally train them. But for postgraduate studies, for instance, which is an advanced study, you don't just tell us that A has done this, B has done this. Let us see the connection between the findings of those studies. And that's why I say you can address that subject by subject. Tell us that this subject has been addressed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. Then let us see, do all these 5 people, do they have the same or similar findings? If no, let us know in what way or in what area do their findings contradict one another. You do that for different subjects. Then at the end of the day, you try to now establish a gap in the previous studies. Let us know that, yes, although this subject has been addressed by scholars A, B, C, D, E, F, however, these scholars have not addressed this matter from this perspective. You can say scholars A to F who address this subject all address this subject from a sociological perspective, for instance, from your study. Now see that research that has addressed this matter from a psychological perspective is rare. You only have, let's say, only one instance of that research. You can also give an instance. So now it is as a result of this gap that your research now wants to address this same matter again from this same psychological perspective. So you have established a gap and you have let them know that your own research wants to fill that gap. So when you now do your own research, when you do analysis at the end of the day, you come up with your findings. You will have to see how your findings speak to the findings of the other researchers who have researched that same subject matter from a sociological perspective. Does your own finding now corroborate their own or contradict their own? So you'll have to do this. So at the end of the day, we can now see that yes, a new scholar has been born. So somebody can now begin now to cite your own research that yes, we have one scholar who has now addressed this matter from this perspective. And then your findings can now also be cited. So this is how you can do your empirical review. If you find this video useful and educative, please, I urge you to like, comment, and share, and still follow more for more videos on research writing. Thank you.